Right now on First Coast News, what went wrong? A 16-year-old boy stabs his parents in their sleep. What we're learning from his friends and baseball team. Plus, JSO is taking aim at a local newspaper. The reason they claim a controversial report is inaccurate. And get ready for a Teal takeover in the Steel City.
We have two buses that filled with 56 of the craziest Jaguar fans in Jacksonville.
First Coast News is live in Pittsburgh tonight with the best food, a personal look at the players and how they're prepping for the big game. First Coast News at 11 on this Friday night starts right now. And first tonight at 11, a 16-year-old boy with dreams of playing college baseball is facing criminal charges tonight. Police say he stabbed his parents multiple times while they were sleeping, and it's still unclear why he did that. First Coast News reporter Chari Rodriguez spoke to one of the teen's friends and leaders of his baseball team. She joins us live tonight with more. Honey.
Anthony, everyone is shocked by today's news. I spoke with a classmate who tells me this teenager was loving it, was actually looking forward to playing baseball at UNF. And like I said, today's news just came as a shock to them. They're still in disbelief that something like this could happen.
My heart just dropped and I was in disbelief, especially with seeing him a couple days before this actually took place.
His 16-year-old classmate at Paxton School for Advanced Studies was arrested Wednesday. According to this police report, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office responded to Oakleaf Apartments after the teen's parents called police when he stabbed them with a knife while they were sleeping. According to JSO, his parents had stab wounds to the head and neck, but the injuries were not life-threatening.
We are very saddened, and our hearts do go out to the family.
Leanne Morona, director of baseball operations for the Florida Dodgers scout team program, says she was shocked when she heard the news. The 16-year-old is on the traveling baseball team.
He's exhibited nothing but stellar behavior with our program.
We also knocked on the door of the teenager's home for comment, but no one answered.
My prayers are out for him and his family, and that they will recover.
That teen is facing 2 counts of assaulted battery with a deadly weapon. We will continue to monitor the story and bring you updates once we have more information. For now, reporting live, I'm Chari Rodriguez, First Coast News on your side.
Hey, thank you. It's been 2 months since we first told you about an investigation launched by our news partners at the Florida Times-Union called Walking While Black. The reporting exposed a disproportionate number of jaywalking tickets being issued to blacks as compared to whites, and it sparked calls from local leaders to review JSO's practices. Today, JSO issued a statement contesting the TU's most recent findings and claimed a long list of inaccuracies in their reporting. First Coast News reporter Julia Janae joins us now, breaking some of that down. And Julia, this response is pretty detailed.
Anthony, Sheriff Mike Williams' response lists 35, quote, inaccuracies or clarifications, all of them relating to the Times-Union article that found that tickets were being given in error and that a majority were being given to African Americans.
JSO asked the public to read and share its lengthy Facebook post on Friday outlining what it calls inaccuracies in a Florida Times-Union article about pedestrian tickets. Sheriff Mike Williams' top complaint, the TU's finding that hundreds of jaywalking tickets were given to people not breaking the law. He says, quote, there has been no factual basis established that the pedestrian citations has been flawed. The continuing assertions of such by 2 reporters does not make it so. The Times-Union says that they found those error tickets by using Google Maps Street View to map out where the error tickets were being issued. Now, Florida statute prohibits crossing mid-block between 2 intersections with traffic signals like this one. The TU reported that many of those tickets were given where traffic signals don't exist.
Mr. Mayor, tell the sheriff to do the right thing.
Local leaders have called for all pedestrian violation tickets to be suspended pending an investigation. This after reporting by the TU and national watchdog group ProPublica reported blacks received 55% of all pedestrian tickets while only accounting for 29% of the population. Sheriff Williams responded in his press release saying that the Times-Union analysis continues to isolate one demographic element of race while ignoring economic status, education level, or national origin. He adds, citations are based on behavior, not demographics.
Now, the Times-Union tonight issued its own response just a couple of hours ago, outlining each of those claims and their response to each from JSO. They say they stand by their very accurate and important reporting. We've got a full list of those claims by JSO and the TU's response on our website at firstcoastnews.com. Anthony, back to you.
Julia Janae, thank you. A Brunswick couple will be serving prison time for beating up the owner of a restaurant and his teen daughter. Police say they were upset over cold chicken and not getting enough fries. This is video of that attack, but we're freezing the video before the man punches the teenage girl. 45-year-old Nathaniel Smith was sentenced to 8 years in prison, and 28-year-old Denise Smith will serve 2 years in jail. St. Johns County Schools say they do not support allowing some workers to have guns in the classroom. Last night we told you about a Neptune Beach representative endorsing a bill to make that legal. The chief of community relations with the district told us she understands the motivation behind the bill, but says she is not convinced that having firearms in our schools is the answer. So they say that they work very closely with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, and they rely on their expertise and involvement whenever discussing school safety. Dozens of die-hard Jags fans turned out to sack the Steelers pep rally today. It was at City Hall. Fans showed their support by signing a send-off banner for the team. Jacksonville, the Roar, and the Jacks Pack were also there to get everyone pumped up for Sunday. The Jags take on the Steelers, and our First Coast News team has been all over Pittsburgh today, running into Jags fans everywhere they go. They even got to taste some of the town's famous food. And they join us live tonight from Pittsburgh to fill us in on all the excitement, where I understand it's now snowing.
It is snowing here, Anthony. Come on with me. Let me show you. Early. Come over here, guys. We got some folks from Duval in the house. They're enjoying the snow as well. As you know, coming up on Sunday, we got a showdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But tonight, we're all into this, the white stuff, the snow. And can I get a Duval in the snow? Duval!
Midge is your name?
Midge, yes.
Elisa.
And y'all just got here today from Jacksonville,
yes,
right?
What do you think about the snow?
No.
Oh, I love the snow.
It's pretty, isn't
Isn't
it?
it pretty? Oh, and it's a beautiful day, and the Jags are going to get a win.
Yeah.
All right.
Pittsburgh, thank you for inviting us.
Kick your...
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to tell you today, I want to give you a little flavor of the Steel City. So we've been out exploring, and I went to a landmark restaurant. Pittsburgh's known for this restaurant. Get out of the car, look next to me, and I meet the Johnsons. The Johnsons are from Jacksonville, and well, we went inside with them and we tried out this world famous sandwich, and you got to see this.
Everything comes the same way. Coleslaw, french fries, tomatoes, provolone cheese. Coleslaw is vinegar based. It's like a sweet and sour sauce, not mayo based. So everything comes on the sandwich.
Decked out in their Jaguars gear, Major Trent Johnson and his wife Rosalind got off the plane from Jacksonville and came straight to Primanti Brothers in Pittsburgh Strip District to try their world-famous sandwich.
All right, guys, I brought the goods.
All right, this is what we're waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for.
Wow.
There you go.
This is
Awesome.
Coleslaw, french fries, tomatoes, provolone cheese.
Oh my
pastrami, coleslaw, french fries, cheese, tomatoes, and egg.
Primanti Brothers has been open 24 hours a day since 1933, and for 85 years they've been making the sandwiches this way with all the fries tucked inside.
The Strip District is a produce and fish and meat yard. So back in the day, to keep the truckers moving, they put everything on the sandwich so they could grab it and go.
Surrounded by some Steelers fans,
Duval.
Major Johnson, the senior Air Force Junior ROTC instructor at Andrew Jackson High School, and Rosalind, a kindergarten teacher at Biscayne Elementary, say they missed the Jags' last playoff game, but they were not about to miss this one.
Hey, we missed out on Jaguars the first game. We said, so we got to be here for the next one.
Yes.
And bring them all the way back to Jacksonville. Hopefully, we'll have the
win.
AFC Championship
Yeah.
game in Jacksonville next
We're
week.
winning it.
That's what we're hoping for. So we can't wait for the game this weekend.
Yeah.
We know that Pittsburgh's going to be tough, but Jacksonville's tougher.
That's right.
And, you know, I think it's going to be a really tight game, too. So it'll be good. May the best man win.
That's right. Go Jags. Go Jags.
Whether you're a Jags fan or a Steelers fan, stop here and you will soon likely become a fan of Primanti Brothers.
It is. We've always been a must-stop place. You know, we've been featured on some national TV shows, so people from around the country have heard about us. So they usually come to check us out, and usually we turn them into fans.
Okay, so if you're looking at that at home, you're like, oh my gosh, it looks so good, but I can't come to Pittsburgh. They actually ship their sandwiches to your front door anywhere in the country. Hey, we're having fun out here, aren't we, Chris Porter? Look, Saxonville, representing right here in the Steel City.
We're going to rename this city Saxonville because the Jaguars are going to leave victorious. And one of the biggest reasons why is because of the Jaguars defense led by one of the cornerbacks by the name of A.J. BOUYE. He's one of the best in the business. But his number one priority isn't football, it is being a dad. Coming up in just a few minutes, A.J. and I talk about what else being a dad, traveling on the road, how you still get to talk to our princesses, all that good stuff is coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Heather and Chris. Well, you may have heard that the new iPhone is the most durable phone ever, but is it really? We dropped the phone from different distances and put it to the test. That's next. Well, he's not even old enough to have a glass of champagne to celebrate, but today a 20-year-old Florida man claimed the $451 million Mega Millions jackpot. Shane Misler, who lives in Port Richey, bought the quick pick ticket at 7-Eleven. He's decided to take the lump sum, meaning he'll get a $282 million deposit in his bank account. According to ABC Tampa, this was his first post reacting to the news. It simply says, "Oh my God." Misler says he hopes to use the money to pursue a variety of passions, help his family, and do some good for humanity. He says he's not ready to talk to the media just yet, but says he's already hired an attorney and created an LLC. Well, Apple advertises its iPhone 10 as the most durable glass smartphone, front and back, but just how durable is it? That was kind of a mouthful. ABC News put it to the test by dropping 3 iPhones worth $3,000 from 3 different heights. Take a look.
First up, the pocket drop.
This is pretty realistic. You pull your phone out of your pocket and a couple of little dings, but on the whole, this looks fine.
Next, our selfie drop.
All right, here goes. Not shattered. I'm actually surprised.
Our last phone, an extreme drop from this rooftop.
3 stories up, dropping this phone into a parking lot. Here goes. Oh! The back looks perfect. The front, wow. That is completely shattered to shreds.
I mean, it was dropped off a roof. Okay, so there you have it. So as long as you don't drop it from a roof, your iPhone should be okay. Well, imagine coming home from a 10-day vacation and find another family living in your home. A woman in South Carolina experienced just that. Catherine Lang says when she came home, the washing machine was going, there was a pot of beans on the stove, and there was someone else's clothes in her closet. There was a husband and wife and 2 kids inside. Turns out they weren't squatters. They had actually been scammed by a rental company they found online. They wired money and they were apparently sent a fake lease. Police were called, but the 2 families were able to resolve the issue. No one was arrested.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
All right, so we've been talking all day today, all day yesterday, all night tonight about the big game on Sunday. If you're headed up to Pittsburgh, it's going to be cold. Layer up. The good news is the snow you saw on the screen with Heather and Chris earlier in the show will dwindle off tomorrow morning, and they'll be getting a couple breaks of snow. But pretty cool. If you think Florida's weather is crazy, try living in Pennsylvania. We're today in Pittsburgh at about 2:05 p.m. The airport was at 63 degrees. And then at about 2:55 p.m., the temperature was 37 degrees. That's a 26-degree temperature drop in less than an hour, where it went from 60s and some rain to now 30s, or actually now 20s and some snow. So plenty of snow up in Pittsburgh, where winter weather or winter storm warning is in effect. We're 6 inches of snow likely to get dumped on this Steel City. But as we head through the weekend, that'll clear out, and by the game on Sunday, it'll be nice and dry. But there will be some snow most certainly on the ground for folks headed up that way. Here's the front that really is now pushed off to our east and our northeast, and the drier air behind the cold front is eventually now sinking into the first coast. It's better shown on a temperature spread where you can find the cold front. Look at the colors and the temperature differences where we got 60s and 50s up towards, say, here Jacksonville, towards Charlotte, North Carolina, and just behind that, look, you got 20s in Pittsburgh, you got teens up in Chicago, 20s in Nashville, where that colder, drier air is clashing in and breaking down really the above normal numbers we've been seeing all across really the eastern United States. We are in the 60s now across the first coast. Slowly under those mostly clear skies, we'll gradually see those skies clear through the night tonight, making for a bit of a chilly morning for us, but the weekend is looking absolutely fantastic. Crisp sunshine to start it on Saturday. Low temperatures in the 40s. Do look at the low temperatures for us as we head towards Sunday. A bit frosty. We got them in the lower 30s for us. High temperatures in the 50s. The winter weather, or I should say winter, the season cold weather, returns for us as we head towards late next week. By Wednesday next week, high temperatures only going to be in the 40s here in the First Coast. At least it's not as cold as Pittsburgh currently. Chris, you're in the 20s right now in the snow. I know you're all jacked up because the Jags are playing on Sunday, so you're feeling nice and warm up there regardless.
Yeah, it's cold right now, but hopefully, Steve, on Sunday they will fire things up here in Pittsburgh. As Heather and I showed you a few minutes ago, the snow is continuing to fall. You can see it here on the ground. Now, you know, being a dad and being in this business can sometimes be tough because we spend a lot of time on the road, and I'm not alone. I went one-on-one with Jaguars cornerback A.J. BOUYE, who gave me some advice on how to deal with being a dad, having to travel, how to balance it all.
Flacco on first down looking for Macklin. Great adjustment, juggled and picked off. A.J. BOUYE off the deflection, and he takes it back to the 30-yard line.
Jaguars cornerback A.J. BOUYE has balled in his first season with the team, shutting down some of the best wide receivers in the NFL week after week.
Kaiser intercepted by A.J. BOUYE. The throw sailed on Kaiser right into A.J. BOUYE's hands.
His play this season earned him a trip to the Pro Bowl, which has the Jaguars in the thick of the playoffs. But there's a softer side to this ball-hawking corner.
It's a fortunate opportunity for me to raise her. I feel I'm learning more from her than she do from me. She's always smiling and energetic. I never knew I could love somebody like that.
She is A.J. BOUYE's 2-year-old daughter, Zoe.
I mean, it's terrible twos. I just try to call it terrific twos and have a different perspective on it. But I don't get angry at her. Even when she's doing everything, you can't get mad at them because they don't know what they're doing. But we're to the point now we're having full conversations. She's learning how to form sentences, and she's asking why to everything and just following me everywhere. So definitely got to keep your eyes on her because she's going to try to copy everything you do.
BOUYE only sees his daughter during Jags home games. She lives in Houston with a mother. But believe me, they still talk via FaceTime, something I know a whole lot about. I try to FaceTime my daughter, but she still wants to hit the red button and hang up, and I get a lot of forehead and shaky video. What are your conversations like?
I ask her how's school going, and then she'll start talking about like activities, or she'll use a word for that or something like that. She's always talking about playing Play-Doh or something, but she's calmed down with pressing that red button.
I call being a dad the most rewarding job that I have. You feel the same way?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Like I said, I'm playing for more than just me now. Not only my teammates, but I just want to be able to give a good example to my daughter.
So, AJ, I appreciate the advice about the terrible twos. My daughter, my aunt, is scheduled to turn 2 years old on January 26th, and I know she should be asleep right now, but just in case Jovi and my aunt are watching, my aunt, this note is for you. I miss you, my aunt. Now, our coverage here from Pittsburgh is just getting fired up. Coming up, we're talking about what else? The weather. Yes, we're talking about weather in sports. Alyssa Lane continues our team coverage, and she'll discuss who is the biggest wuss on the Jags team when it comes to playing in this stuff. Folks, we're pumping up the volume. Next in sports.
Farrah and Farrah Sports Desk. It's First Coast Sports.
Jag Nation. Duval till we die, baby. And guess what? We got some sour Buffalo fans right there. Move, move. They don't know how to act. They sour. Hey, I ain't gonna cuss. Hey, listen. Duval till we die, baby. Pittsburgh, we own you.
We've been waiting on you again. Time to send you home, make you retire again.
Forget what you heard. Our Jacksonville Jaguar fans are fired up and stoked about Sunday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And while Mike Tomlin and company are already talking about playing the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, hold on, wait a minute. Let's go back to Week 5 when the Jags came to this very city and dominated the Steelers 39. In fact, it had been Roethlisberger talking about possibly retiring. The showdown is this Sunday at 1:05 at the Big Ketchup Bottle. Now, as you can see, plenty of snow has fallen here in the Steel City. And this is the perfect segue to my colleague, Alyssa Lang, who is telling us how the Jags plan to deal with all of this stuff.
So the temperature early Sunday morning before the Jags and the Steelers kick off is supposed to be about 4 degrees. It's only going to warm up to maybe the 20s come kickoff time. So I went around the Jags locker room this week to see who's the biggest baby in the cold.
Didi.
Didi, why?
I don't know.
The biggest baby on the team when it comes to the cold weather?
Who can't handle it?
Who can't handle it? Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, I might be the biggest baby.
It's Didi. Every time we get the cold, he always complaining about the cold. But he went to Oklahoma, that's what I don't understand. Like, he played in the cold.
Right.
So, as far as receivers, it's Didi.
Who's the biggest baby on the team when it comes to cold weather?
Cold weather. Like one of those little guys. I like Mickens. You know, he's so small.
I'd say myself, honestly, because if it's cold, I'm wearing sleeves, I'm wearing the hot pads, everything. So I don't like being cold.
West Coast can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't.
Oh, and the Leonard Fournette, the Louisiana boy. You know, I think he's used to too much cold
Can't
down
take
there.
the cold?
Can't take the cold, but luckily he's a running back and he can't wear long sleeves. So let him make him suffer a little bit.
I mean, it's playoffs, so, you know, cold weather or not, you know, rain to the snow. You know, just get your job done.
Now the Jags are 1-1 in cold weather games. They came away with a win in Cleveland, but things didn't go so well up in Nashville against the Titans. We'll see what happens this Sunday. In Pittsburgh, Alyssa Lang, First Coast Sports.
And be sure to join us tomorrow night in prime time for the Riverside Chevrolet Road to Minnesota Prowl in Pittsburgh. We'll have all things Jaguars and Steelers at 8 o'clock over on ABC 25. College football now, and no surprise here, Jacob Eason has decided to transfer. Yes, he's leaving the University of Georgia. As you know, he went down with an ankle injury during that first game of the regular season. In came the true freshman, Jake Fromm, and the Bulldogs never looked back. Fromm leading the Dogs to the SEC Championship and a spot in the National Championship game. We're being told that Eason may be transferring to Washington. Hashtag Team Sideline. Yes, Cece, we thank you so much for posting this photo on Instagram using the hashtag Team Sideline. Remember, folks, any sport, anytime, anywhere, show your team pride and post your photos on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag Team Sideline. Be sure to join Alyssa Lang bright and early on Good Morning Jacksonville, as she'll be talking what else? Jaguars and Steelers. That's it from a snowy Pittsburgh. We'll see you in the morning.